fantastic episode of the podcast. On today's show, we're going to have Ashley. She is a athlete. She is the ROAW KB champ, a two-time Strawweight champ in the XFN. Her next title defense is on January 28th. So you don't want to miss that, and you don't want to miss this episode. But before we jump into this fantastic episode, we're going to hear a word from today's sponsor.
Are you looking for clean energy without jitters and bad side effects? No sugar, artificial sweeteners, or preservatives? With a good source of energy from green tea and B12? Then look no further. Make sure you visit PureBoost.com and check them out today. We use this every day. It's our drink of choice to give us that good pick-me-up in the morning.
All right, welcome back to the show. Today we have a very, very exciting episode for you and a very special guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey guys, what's up? My name is Ashley THUGASH MOLINA. I'm an MMA fighter down here in South Florida, 115 champ for XFN, and as well as a kickboxing champ for Rise of a Warrior.
Very cool. How are you today?
I'm doing great, energetic. How are you?
Great. Doing good. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
So tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into MMA.
I was kind of depressed at a certain point. I was going through a breakup, and my dad and a really good friend of mine, they're the ones that encouraged me. They're like, oh, you should try this, just to change things up. And we honestly feel like you'd be good at it. So just give it a try. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. So I just looked up a gym very next day, found one and signed up. And since then I've been going nonstop.
Very cool. So in your journey to become an MMA fighter, what was the training like, and did you have a certain MMA fighter that maybe you looked up to at some point?
Well, the training, since the very beginning, I've always done it like every day, a couple sessions throughout the day, 3 to 4, just training nonstop and being consistent, disciplined as well. And any fighters that I looked up to as I started the journey, it would be Thug Rose, Namajunas, Joanna, Valentina Chipchenko. Oh my God, I'm like butchering her name. Those are a couple of fighters that I looked up to as I started this journey for sure.
So what was the training like? I mean, did you have certain things that you did each day? And as far as nutrition, because I know with certain fighters, nutrition is a very, very important aspect of what you do to keep in shape.
Oh yeah, for sure. So my training just consisted of just drilling, technique-wise, couple sparring sessions throughout the week, and my diet is just to eat as clean as I can. Vegetables, get my carbs in, clean meat, like clean protein. Sorry, it's just stuff like that. Really, it's just being strict on yourself and sacrificing a lot.
What was the hardest part of learning to be an MMA fighter?
Maybe ground game, because I really did start and focus mainly on striking at the old gym that I was at. We didn't really focus too much on ground game stuff. We kind of touched it, but not too much. Not until I had a loss against Naomi Young, which was for an XFN title. And, I lost via rear naked choke. She found the opportunity. I made a mistake. She found the opportunity. And since then, I've been working a lot on my grappling. That's something that, compared to my striking, I feel like is my weak point. But I'm working every day on it so I can be well-rounded.
So as far as getting into MMA, what was your first fight like? And what did it take to get in that state of mind to go out and just...
Honestly, I was excited. My first fight, I don't remember ever feeling nervous. I was just like, all right, let's do this. Like, I want to go in there and just just to see like how it is. And I was having fun throughout the whole process, you know. Mind you, my first weight cut for that fight, it sucked. I had to cut like 18 pounds within 2 weeks, but I did it. But like that part, it sucked, but like it sucked so much. I feel like I can speak for every fighter. Cutting weight is like not the fun part. The fun part is the fight. So going into the fight, you know, after rehydrating and just the night before, I was just ready. I was ready to go. Like I was looking forward to it. I was just looking to have some fun and see where my progress is from my very first time training.
So how many fights have you had thus far in your career?
I've had 11 fights so far.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine what it's like to punch people in the face for a living, especially, you know, I've heard from people that's a good way to get aggression out, but to do it legally, I guess, is
Right.
the
Right. You sign a waiver if you want to go get some sparring in, like get some aggression out, just sign a waiver and you're doing it all legally. No, for sure it does
So
help, I guess.
I saw on your Instagram that you've won a few championships. What was that like, and which ones have you won?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the second part?
Sure, sure. So I saw on your Instagram profile that you've won a few championships. What was that like, and which ones have you won?
So the couple of championship fights that I've won. So my very first one was a kickboxing 115 for Rise of a Warrior in St. Port Lucie. That was really exciting because I knew we were going against a very tough game opponent, and she's like a firecracker, like the best way I can describe her. She's very like aggressive and forward, and that honestly to this day I feel like that's one of my favorite fights that I've had. We went hard 3 rounds, and it was just a blast, honestly. And then my second title fight, which is when I lost to Naomi Young, but then I had another opportunity again with XFN because it was vacant. So I fought against Lisa Goldie for the 115 on XFN, and it was fun. I knew I was going up against a grappler, so I was very excited to test my skills because that was my fight going back into since that loss with Naomi Young. So I wanted to like show like, okay, I've improved on my ground game. Like I'm ready to face a grappler and show what I have. And I was able to defend her takedowns and to finish the fight in the first round. And then the second title defense, well, my first title defense was again for XFN. I went against Karen Fernandez. She was a really game opponent, tough opponent. I think one of the toughest opponents I've had as well. And it was a banger for sure, again, against another grappler. And luckily I was able to, stop her takedowns and just keep it on the standing up. And I don't know, I was just looking for progress. And I did want to show some progress with the ground stuff, but, I didn't see the opportunity. So hopefully next time.
Yeah, and it sounds like that you love what you do, and with you already having a few championships under your belt, that it looks like you're doing well in the MMA world. And I know right now the MMA world is so huge.
Right.
So where do you see yourself ending up in the MMA world? Do you see yourself going for the big leagues at some point?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's my end goal. That's my long-term goal. I for sure want to see myself up in the big boy leagues, whoever. I know at the end, I want to be known as one of the best MMA and well-respected athletes that's been on this earth. So I for sure want to earn that title, and hopefully one day I will.
So at the end of your MMA career, wherever that may lead you, what do you think would be the next step in your career? Whether it be maybe being a trainer, or there's been MMA fighters that have gone on to acting, and then they've moved into the wrestling world. So it's like the possibilities are endless.
Oh yeah, definitely. I know for sure one thing. I do want to help out with SA survivors, which is sexual abuse survivors. In case, yeah. I've had experiences in the past with SA, so I for sure want to help somehow in the future, like maybe give classes or like some form of self-defense for the ladies or men as well. And, I honestly want to do something in that aspect. I'm not sure how or where or how I can do it, but when it comes to that, I definitely do want to make a difference with that subject. And as well as I've always had this long running joke with a good friend of mine, Damien. He said, he's into the whole wrestling thing, like the pro wrestling. He's like a big fan of that. So we would always play around in my living room, like, oh, I'm the villain, and he's just like the good guy or something. And I don't know. He's like, oh, one day I'm gonna be your manager for that, and I'm like, all right, cool. So who knows? Maybe that's gonna end up at that point too. I don't know. That'd be cool though. I wouldn't be mad at it.
Definitely. I mean, it sounds like combat sports is something that it's on the rise, has been for years, and to be a part of that, even in the capacity of trying to work your way up through the ranks,
Right.
has got to be exciting because you're part of a small niche group that is making a huge impact when it comes to any kind of combat sports.
Definitely.
So, as far as where people can find your fights and where they can find you on social media, where can they find it?
So you guys can look me up on Instagram or Twitter, TikTok, Ashley MO_GA. I do have a couple of fights up on YouTube, but they're like under XFN or Rise of a Warrior page. Yeah, you can definitely look me up through those contexts.
And what do you have coming up next in the next couple of months?
So actually, I do have a second title defense for the 115 at XFN in Coral Springs, January 28th. I'm looking forward to it again. Another game opponent. She's a straight grappler, so I'm really hoping I can show some grappling in this fight. I'm not gonna force anything because if you force stuff, it's not gonna work out. So if I see the opportunity, I'm gonna definitely seize it. But I'm gonna stick to my game plan and just have fun in there. Honestly, that's the most important thing that I always try to do in every fight. Have fun and just look for progression. It's Amis, I'm allowed to make the mistakes here. So that's what's happening. And then shortly after, I do have news as well, but I kind of want to keep that under the wraps until after that fight.
Very cool. So we'll have to stay tuned for that. And
Yes.
Of course,
definitely.
all of us here at the channel wish you the best of luck on the title defense.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And, I appreciate you taking a little bit of time out of your schedule to come on the show, talk with us, and give us some insight on your background and what you've done thus far in your career. It sounds like your career is on the up and up, and the future looks very bright. Whatever the outcome may be at the end of your career, trying to be the best is all we could ever achieve for,
Right.
regardless of the career that we're in. And, I think that what you're doing and the message that you're sending and empowering other women to jump into something they enjoy is a very good message, and we need more of that.
Definitely. Thank you. I really do appreciate you for having me here. I'm excited to look and to speak to you later on as well.
Definitely. I appreciate it. And like I said, good luck on your defense, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Can I give a couple of shout outs if that's okay?
Absolutely. Go right ahead.
Cool. So first and foremost, I want to shout out my coaches, my head coach. We actually just established a new facility at Lotus Club with Fireball MMA. So really excited. We finally have a home. I'm like, we're all very grateful for it. Shout out to Josh, Fireball MMA. That's my head coach. And then I also want to give a shout out to my other coach, Daniel Perez. He's my grappling coach, as well as Elvin Espinoza. He's another fighter. He's my wrestling coach. Gloria, my strength conditioning coach, and everyone in my team on those gyms. my teammates as well, friends and family. I appreciate the support, family from Colombia, Nicaragua. And then another shout out to my sponsors. I would like to give a shout out to MIA Boutique, South Florida Pressure Washing, Above and Beyond Learning, as well as Rocked.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Got to get the plugs in. I love it.
Right.
Well, I appreciate it, and I wish you the best of luck, and I will talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.